Alright, so I am going to do an unboxing video and a couple tests of the Powerhouse rig. Let's see. This is one of the new V2 Powerhouse regs. They haven't been released yet, but somehow managed to get my hands on a couple. But let's see if I can get it open. All right, so in the box comes an Allen key, installation guide, a regulator with cutout foam, a little container of grease, a low pressure piston, and the reg itself. So I requested from Powerhouse that these be set to 850 psi, which for most people is they consider it extremely high pressure or whatever, but that's where mags like to run. I found that there's not a lot of regs that will perform the way the Powerhouse reg performs. Previously, I've been using Crossfire regs for my mags, just because I've been able to rebuild them. But I found that the Crossfire regs required less maintenance and were more consistent than other regs like Ninja or let's see, I was using the Pure Energy regs like the Empire regs, and people were shimming those to basically get mags to RT. But I found that the Powerhouse reg set to 850 was more consistent than some of the others that I was running. So I'm going to weigh Powerhouse reg compared to a Ninja Pro V2. So that is 5.6 ounces. So let me get that. And 0. And that is 6 ounces. So the Powerhouse reg is lighter, but it also comes with a stainless steel bonnet versus I guess Ninja's nickel-plated brass, I think, is what they're running. Some other companies like Empire are running aluminum bonnets, but if you're running an older ASA or something that doesn't have an on-off, you really need something that isn't aluminum. Yeah, so I've been really happy with the Powerhouse regs. They have this ratcheting system. So you loosen this up, and you can adjust, do this without pressure obviously, you can adjust the location of your fill nipple and your gauge. So personally I prefer the fill nipple on the bottom. I run a nipple cover, and that keeps me from getting dirt and debris inside my reg, but I really hate when I'm playing to have the fill nipple in my wrist. It used to be people, a couple companies made shims, a couple companies recommend you put an O-ring inside the ASA, but Powerhouse reg is where it's at. Now, what they have done is they've machined in this recess so you don't have the issue that Ninja's having, where the ASAs are sealing with the on-offs, on the Empire snipers, and the resurrections and some of the other on-offs that have those brass pieces in them. And Powerhouse also is not using the ball valve. The ball is restrictive. I'll screw this apart and show you what the inside looks like. Alright, so inside, this is your pin. At the bottom of your pin, you've got looks like a Teflon O-ring, your high pressure piston, your wave spring, and then this, since it's a V2, has an adjustable floor that adjusts how much pressure is put on the spring. So previously they only had the two pistons, but I kind of pointed out to them that they needed to market the mag market, as well as some other markets where that high pressure market is higher than 600, and they kind of took a step back and redesigned and looked at being able to adjust the output pressure. So they've been a huge help. Everybody I've talked to at Powerhouse has been ecstatic about it. I've talked to several people that use them regularly and said that they've just been amazing. I've been using mine since March. I picked up a V1, ran the V1 on all my mags, my cockers, my pumps, pretty much everything, and it's just been fantastic. But they know what they're looking for in a superior product. I've just been amazed at the time that's spent in the machine process. There's a lot of companies are just cranking out the same old design, over and over again. Like look at Empire. Empire's using what the pure energy regulators were, what the PMI regulators were. It's basically the same design. All they did was change the color and change the bonnet to aluminum. Now people are having issues with the aluminum bonnets, and everybody hates them. They're made overseas and have nothing but issues. I've seen brand new ones that are blowing up, burst discs because of machining issues and whatnot. So what I've got here is I've got an auto mag set up to RT. I've got a Ninja Pro V2 that is set up to, it's shim to 800 or 850. Let's see. It's shim to a little over 850. So I'll go ahead and show that. I don't know if you can see that, but it RTs, but the consistency is not the same as the mag or as the Powerhouse regs. And you'll be able to hear it. So what you're listening for is basically the ability to RT. I know that's difficult, but performance-wise, it's one of the only ways I can think to show it. Mags are very demanding as far as their input pressure. So there's really three things that make a mag RT. One is how broken in the O-rings are, how short the on-off pin is, and the tank input pressure. And what I've found that more and more is that it's less dependent on the actual pressure going into the gun and more dependent on the consistency. So pretty much anything over, say 850, with the mag set up correctly, will get it to RT. and you'll be able to hear that the Ninja reg does the RT but in bursts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the video and reset up with the Ninja tank, and then do a Powerhouse V1 and a Powerhouse V2, and you'll be able to hear that difference. So, all right, so I got the mag set up with the Ninja Pro V2 set to about 850, 875, and you'll be able to see, or hear rather, the difference in the RTs. So here we go. Alright, so this is the Powerhouse V1. Alright, so this is Powerhouse V2. So here we go.